I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Oh! You are round MVP.
Yeah, man. Yo, Drew, I finally got round MVP. Round MVP.
No way. That was some ownage. It's a good thing you got me as your wingman.
Right. You mean when you threw that flash grenade at me?
Whatever, man. Huge round. Seriously, great stuff.
Finally earning round MVP takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes.
All right, class. I'm going to pass back your tests. And a high score goes to Brian.
Oh, yeah. High score, baby.
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you're good at, you have the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help you get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Have you ever heard of the Virginia Warm Line? The Mental Health America of Virginia Warm Line is a free, peer-run service that is there for us as we all try to make sense of things. It's nice to have a friendly voice help guide you, if even for a few minutes, to a safer space. The Warm Line is not for immediate crisis help, but rather for those trying to cope with the state of the world these days. And that's just about everyone, isn't it? More at mhav.org or call 1-866-400-6428. Si hablamos español.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
In the wake of a hurricane, your monetary donation can make a huge difference to those in need. To donate, visit supporthurricanerelief.org. That's supporthurricanerelief.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN.
Start your morning right with Ironclad Coffee Roasters and Baking Company, the official coffee of Fitz the Bill and ESPN Richmond. They have fresh artisan pastries made from scratch daily in their own in-house bakeries to go along with some of the best coffee in RVA. 3 locations, one in Shockoe Bottom, one in the West End, and one in Lynchburg. Check them out too online at ironcladcoffee.com. Fitz the Bill is powered by Ironclad Coffee Roasters and Baking Company each and every morning.
Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Spicy Mom.
We are going to wreak havoc.
The only thing I am thinking about is the game.
Holy catfish! Touchdown, Seahawks!
Rashid Shaheed.
Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans.
This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick.
All live from the capital of the Commonwealth.
Where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first.
If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Cleveland will inbound it. Harden does, and the game is over. One of the greatest comebacks in playoff history. Trailing by 22 in the fourth quarter, the Knicks come storming back in the largest playoff comeback win since 1970. They go from trailing by 22 to winning by 11 in overtime, 115 to 104.
It's always special when you give your fans something to cheer for. And for us to, it's been a tough go-around for them for the first 3 quarters of the game. And for us to come in that huddle and with the energy of the fans and the fans really showing us so much love and support to give them something to cheer for. In the fourth, it's always an honor. It's a privilege to be able to do. And, this team, all we want to do is make the city proud and bring the city wins. And to be able to accomplish that tonight in a night where it didn't seem like it was going to happen is an honor. And it's truly something special.
And hit the music.
Come on. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York.
That's a good one. We got theme songs, baby. Sorry, Cleveland. I mixed that up. It's a good theme song. It's a good theme song.
Man,
welcome in, Fitz.
Hold on. That's their theme song? I think so, right? Go New York, go New York, go.
Yeah,
2024
Mecca. And
that's a good point. That is very valid pushback.
That's one reason not to like New York.
I don't know, but it's catchy, man. You're gonna be singing that rest of the day.
All those famous Grammy Award winning
I will say,
rappers.
Bring back Detroit, because the PA announcer in MSG, this may be sacrilegious to say, PA announcer in MSG last night, not hype enough. Their pregame video, not as good as Detroit's. Maybe that's coming from me, a place of a lover of Big X, the plug. And the music that Madison Square Garden was bumping pregame was just not the same as what the Detroit Pistons had. But, hey, it didn't matter because they got the win. And that's all we have to say about that game, right? Nothing crazy happened. The Knicks took care of business, won by 11. Things are good. Things are good.
You know, I'm not going to get off because I can't. But, man, Cleveland is frustrating.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the frustrating Cavaliers in the next segment because we've got a lot to dive into. I found some statistics on James Harden. Kenny Atkinson non-timeout usage is head-scratching. But we do want to start today's show hyping up the New York Knickerbockers because, look, they trailed by 22 points with about 7 minutes left in the game last night. And if anyone ever tells you there's no chance to do something, just point them to the game last night. The Knicks had a 0.1% chance to win when they were trailing by 22 with about 7 minutes left. That means a 99.9% chance for the Cavaliers to win. And the Knicks then outscored the Cavaliers 44-11, winning the game 115-104. Coming into last night, teams were 594-1, win up 22 in the fourth quarter of a playoff game in the last 30 postseasons. After last night's game, that number has moved to 594-2. You heard it in the call there to start the show. Largest Knicks playoff comeback since 1970. I mean, just amazing basketball was played over the final 7 minutes. I got to shout out Jalen Brunson, Captain Clutch. He scored or assisted on 19 points in the final 7:52 of the game to tie it at 101, then went on to have a fantastic overtime. Over the final 12 minutes and 49 seconds of the game, he himself dropped 17 points on 8 of 10 shooting. He outscored the Cavaliers by himself during that span. My, oh my, what a performance last night from the New York Knicks. And let's talk a little bit about the bad of the Cavaliers, right? James Harden was a bit of a problem. And I mean that in a derogatory way, not the complimentary way, because the way kids use the word problem now, it could be either way. James Harden was a problem derogatory last night. He finished with just 15 points. And guess what, Alan? Another game where he had more turnovers than he had made field goals. 6 turnovers, 5 made field goals. In the fourth quarter plus overtime, James Harden was 1 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 4 from three-point land, and he had, guess what, more turnovers than field goals made. 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter plus overtime, just 1 field goal made. Donovan Mitchell even struggled in clutch time. He went 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter plus OT, and his last made field goal came with about 8 minutes left in regulation. It looked like Donovan Mitchell was going to stake his claim as the next MSG villain, something CJ McCollum tried to do earlier in these playoffs, fell a little short, looked like Donovan Mitchell was picking up where McCollum had left off, and then he just... is it tired legs? I think that game last night was the perfect representation of rest versus rust, right? Because I'd rather have the rust. The Knicks came out, sure, maybe they were a little rusty, although they had a couple of really good runs in the first half, but they did trail going into the locker room by 2 points. And you could argue there was some rust. They were a little slow out of the gates. They looked a little bit herky-jerky. The ball movement wasn't exactly what it needed to be. There was a couple of possessions early on in the game where Karl Anthony Towns was at the top of the key trying to orchestrate the offense, and he was just holding the ball with one hand, had nowhere to go with it. And it looked like the Knicks were a little bit out of sorts. There goes the rust. But the rest portion of it, right? They had all of the extra rest. Their legs were fresh late in the game. So when they needed to go on this excellent run late in the game. They had the fresh legs to do it. And on the other side, the Cavaliers seemed to falter down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. To some extent, the rest versus rust thing definitely played a factor in the overtime, I think.
Big time.
In regulation, I felt like the Cavs should have closed it out. I feel like, most of us would think that the Cavs should have closed it out.
Yeah.
And there's really only one thing we can say to this.
Go New York. Oh,
Bing bong is back.
Go New York, go New York, go.
That is
go
awful.
New York, go New York, go.
That is so awful. That is so awful.
It's going to be stuck in your head the rest of the day.
It's giving Vanilla Ice vibes, and that was, 1991?
I'm pretty sure that is like their official theme song.
Yeah, which is awful.
Well, who's better, Philly or New York?
Oh, my God.
The 76ers one's pretty good.
Throw them both away.
Orlando Magic is the best, and it is a dang shame they lost when they did. They blew that huge second half lead. We could have had Orlando Magic. All right, whatever. But the Knicks last night, Donovan Mitchell, he did nothing for the Cavs, and Jalen Brunson on the other side. We were talking about this, right? To win basketball games in the playoffs, you need a closer. And we thought Spida was that for the Cavs. We knew Jalen Brunson was that. Captain Clutch was that for the New York Knicks. And I mean, it's just kind of disappointing that Donovan Mitchell fell on his face in the way he did last night.
Yeah, he started out so fire, too.
Yeah, he started off real well last night. I mean, he had 29 points. He finished with 29 points. He finished with 12 made field goals. That was in the first 36 minutes of the game. And then for the final, 8 minutes, he did nothing.
I just think a part of me feels like that Cavs team last night thought that game was in the bag.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
And it was kind of like the tortoise and hare, right? They took their foot off the gas, and then when they needed to speed back up, they just didn't have it.
It's that's a really, really good analogy there. 10 out of 10. They didn't have it. And then Kenny Atkinson, we'll talk about this a little bit later. Kenny Atkinson didn't use any timeouts in the entire thing. It felt like he was even coaching from a perspective of, well, they're not going to come all the way back. They're going to make things interesting, but they're not going to come all the way back. There's no way that they're going to do that. And then they did. That fourth quarter, it was just a Knicks masterclass. The Knicks went on a 30-8 run over the final 7 minutes to tie it at 101. Brunson had 15, 17 alone in the quarter. Who would have thought Landry Shamet? Landry Shamet went 3 for 3 from 3. Threes are wild. Jeez Louise. He finished with 9 points. He had a plus minus of plus 25. Going into that fourth quarter, Cleveland had an 83-69 lead. New York was down 14. Cleveland, as we all know, extended it all the way to a 93-71 lead with about 7:52 left. And then it just became the Brunson show, which was so fun to watch. And then overtime, guess who stepped up? My guy, OG Anunoby, who came back from his hamstring injury. He was a little out of sorts for the beginning of the game, was missing some threes, airballed a couple, and then he just erupted in overtime. 9 points, got to the line a bunch, and the Knicks were able to close it out. What a game last night. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We've got Chris on line one. Morning, Chris. How we doing?
Not so good, Jack. Look, I was prepared to have a different conversation with you this morning. In fact, I was prepared to tell you that I was right, that the Cavs were going to do this thing. They had a controllable lead. They looked in charge and dominant, and that win would have sucked the life out of Knicks in that series because, as we know, you have to take one on the road. And to win one that big on the road in the first game of the series really would have set a tone. But Kenny, and I'm going to say this, and some people might get offended by this because he's a Richmond guy, but Kenny Atkinson should be fired after last night. Shouldn't even be on their plane ride home. I mean, any coach could have stopped that from happening. I mean, it was once Brunson figured out, and Brunson can say after the postgame all he wanted that he wasn't, but they were targeting James Harden. They would set a pick and get him on Harden, and he was driving him to the lane or elbow each and every time. And he made those couple, spectacular bank shots to win, and that's what really started the run. And it was 18-1 run, and they were still up 10 at this point. And Kenny Atkinson just stood there within arm's reach of the ref and did nothing. And it's just mind-blowing how you can just let that big of a lead go with that little time left. I just think now it's defeating for a team. You can at that point you could lose the locker room, just all kinds of different things. But that may have just ended this series already, and it's so disappointing because I was really pulling for Cleveland, but Kenny Atkinson should be fired.
I love it. I love coming in with the heat. Appreciate you calling in, Chris. Have a great rest of your day. And the other part of that, right? Remember what happened last year in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals? The Pacers had that magnificent comeback to win Game 1, steal it from the Knicks inside MSG. A year later, Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks are the ones that have this masterful comeback. They steal it from the Cavs. Feels like New York almost got that monkey off their back a little bit. If they had lost Game 1, some thoughts from last year's Eastern Conference Finals might start creeping in. It feels like it is a massive, massive loss, but the ramifications are going to be felt throughout this entire series because Cleveland, who was already gassed after a hard-fought 7-game series, right? They had to expend so much more energy. I mean, it's going to be tough to overcome that one. All right, we're going to keep it out on the phone lines. We've got Bruce on line 2. Morning, Bruce. How we doing?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. We said this, guys. We said this before the opening round of the playoffs. And I hope you guys remember this. We said coaching would make a difference. I know you guys said, Bruce, it's the playoffs. The coaches are going to be, the first round, we know what's going to happen. The semifinals, we know what's going to happen. It shows in the finals. This was not a Mitch Johnson, Mark Daigneault game. I'm going to tell you guys, what was he saving time out for? Dinner? I mean, man, you done already ate the appetizer and the entree. Are you saving the time out for dessert? I'm telling y'all, man. Dan Gilbert should have walked to the locker room and said, "Give me your sheets. Don't get on the plane. Don't stay in the hotel because they staying there for games too." Dan Gilbert should have walked to the locker room and said, "Give me your sheets." Why didn't you put Schroeder back in? Harden. So let's break this down real quick. Harden is going to be a Hall of Famer, but there's going to be an asterisk, and the asterisk is going to be Game 1 from May the 19th, 2026.
Yeah, man,
it's going to be that. It's just pathetic, guys. It's no one. I mean, Schroeder was playing good.
It is mind-boggling that they did not bring Schroeder in. I've got a stat here. The Knicks got Harden to switch into 9 isolations in the fourth quarter in OT, getting an obscene. This is from the All NBA podcast. They've got great nerd numbers. Whenever the Knicks got Harden to switch in an ISO, they would get 1.9 points per direct action. That is an insane number. Every time they got Harden to switch into an ISO, they were guaranteed a bucket, essentially.
That's why Fitz gets up at 5 in the morning, guys. Because he can pull that. This is straight analytics. And I'm going to tell you, I am surprised that Dan Gilbert has not said to, I know we got relationships with the coach. He's from this area. He's played here. But what you did last night, man, is just, that's firing ground.
It was bad.
And I know it's the Eastern Conference Finals, so you would never fire your head coach. But y'all lost that series last night.
They truly did. And look across I guess it's not technically across the hardwood in basketball. Look to your left, right? Who fired their coach a year ago after not making it out of the Eastern Conference Finals because of a couple of massive letdown games against the Pacers? The Knicks did it a year ago with Thibodeau. I thought that was a fantastic move by them, and that arguably won them the game last night, was not having Thibodeau on the sideline and was having Mike Brown on the sideline. Sometimes you've got to make that difficult call. And look, you called one timeout during that comeback. One timeout. Atkinson exactly. He finished the fourth quarter with 2 timeouts in his pocket. They don't roll over to OT. What are we doing? The second they hit the first 3, that cuts the 22-point lead to 19 points. You know what I'm doing as a coach with 3-4 timeouts? Hey, timeout real quick. All right, guys. They hit the 3. Let's calm down. We don't want this to start an avalanche, because that's what's going to be needed to come back. And then he didn't call that one. They start with the second they cut it to 10. Timeout. All right, guys, we've got to just be smart. Harden, you're coming out. We don't need your offense right now. Schroeder, you're coming in because we need defense. We don't need to score. There's so little time left. We could not score the rest of the game if we just play good defense. And Atkinson refused to call timeouts, and Atkinson refused to make defense for offense subs. And it was just head scratching, man. It was head scratch. I cannot wrap my head around what I saw last night on the Cavaliers sideline. And you're right, Bruce, hometown guy, play with Richmond. I don't want to besmirch Kenny Atkinson too much, but he lost the game for him last night. And I think you said this too, lost them the series last night.
Without question. And I'll leave y'all with this. Bring on Spurs Thunders. Bring on Spurs Thunder tonight, man, because one series we're going to get transformational hoops. The other series we're going to get chicanery. And we got to say what it is. I know people in this area are going to say, man, these are guys calling a sports show. This guy has been coaching for years. He's played college. But, man, I'm going to tell y'all, it was chicanery last night. And I don't know if the Fitz was in. I don't know if Atkinson and the coaches was fooled up in the fact that they were in the Garden. Can you imagine what I'm saying? You are overwhelmed by the fact there are people sitting next to you that play in movies and play in TV shows, and you're at the Garden. And maybe you just wasn't ready for the moment. But for Cavaliers fans, which I am not, y'all lost that series last night.
Yeah, they did. Appreciate you calling in, Bruce. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I learned a new word, courtesy of Bruce right there. Chicanery. Did not know that word. Did I just Google it? I did indeed. Had to learn what that one means, and great use of that word, Bruce. 10 out of 10. I mean, yes. That's
what went through your head.
That is what a word. What a use of that word. Yeah. Use of clever, dishonest, or tricky talk and behavior to deceive people, evade rules, or gain an unfair advantage. Great use of that.
Pains me to go silent on the Kenny Atkinson should be fired, but that definitely sounds like something I would say, because I am a big proponent of game management.
This is from the All NBA podcast. They've got all these advanced numbers. Last night, James Harden, we said it. We said on that call with Bruce, right? He got switched into 9 isolations in the fourth quarter and OT. And the All NBA podcast then backed that up with saying guarding 8 isolations in a single quarter is something. And he had 8 of them happen to him in the fourth quarter, then 1 more in overtime to have 9 across the fourth quarter in OT. Guarding 8 isolations in a single quarter has only happened 30 times regular season or playoffs in the entire tracking era, which goes back to 2013. And that was the worst performance by anyone who's been in 8 ISOs in a single quarter, allowing 1.9 points. Woo! How do you not call a timeout and stop that, man? It's something. It is something. All right, coming up today on Fitz the Bill, we've got a great midweek edition set for you. Hour number 2 is loaded front to back, left to right. You don't want to miss it. Dave Whiteside from the Central Virginia Football Officials Association. Whew, I got to take a breath after saying that name. We might have to talk to him about maybe getting a little shorter one for that. CVFOA.org to learn more. You can sign up to become an official today. You've been hearing them and doing whatever. We had Dave on last year as well, but Dave will be joining us at about 9 a.m. Central Virginia Football Officials Association, cvfoa.org to learn more, to sign up to become an official. And Dave will be joining at about 9 a.m. At 9:15, we've got Matt Burton from the franchise over there in OKC. Pick his brain about what OKC needs to do against San Antonio to get the win. Get a little vibe check on what's happening in Oklahoma City. So Matt Burton will be joining us coming up at about 9:15 and 9:30. I told you it's wall-to-wall action coming up in hour number 2. 9:30, friend of the program, Dan Pizzuta will be joining us to chat a little NFL, some Washington Commanders sprinkled in there. He wrote 6 chapters, count them up, 6, for the FTN Almanac. If you love football, if you love nerd numbers, if you like this show, I highly recommend you get the FTN Almanac. It is one of the best resources out there. You know, Phil Steele for college football, it's like that for the NFL. The FTN Almanac, Dan Pizzuta wrote up 6 chapters in it covering all things AFC East, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions. So we'll pick his brain on those teams as well coming up at 9:30. We're going to get a quick break in. Step aside. We'll be back. Talk more about Kenny Atkinson's coaching decisions right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
106.1 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Richmonders love Pella, Virginia, and it's easy to see why. Pella gives you more, so you can feel confident choosing us for your window and door projects. While other companies may offer just 1 or 2 options, Pella has a full range, wood, vinyl, and fiberglass, so you get quality and customization, not just a quick fix. When you choose Pella, we'll handle everything from order to installation. Right now, get 50% off qualifying installations or 0% APR for 48 months. Find out more at PellaVirginia.com. Some restrictions apply.
This is advertising material. When you clock in for work, you trust your employer to keep you safe. If a workplace injury left you hurt, unable to work, or facing mounting bills, you deserve answers and compensation. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys has recovered $2 billion for families harmed by unsafe conditions, faulty equipment, and employer negligence. They fight corporations and insurance companies so you can focus on recovery. Don't wait. Call Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys now for free consultation. 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law.
Golf season is here. Whether it's your first round of the year or the next round, make sure you're playing it at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. We're offering special pricing this summer on outings for civic organizations, churches, kids' athletic teams, or your own special fundraiser. Also, now is the time to start signing up for your fall golf outings. For more information or to book a tee time, give us a call at 804-749-1900 or visit online at huntinghawkgolf.com.
Stop by Grabo Sports Cards, the preeminent sports card shop in the Mid-Atlantic, located next to Parlay Bar and Lounge and Scott's Addition for a wide selection of baseball, football, basketball, soccer, UFC, WWE, Pokemon cards, and more. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or our website at grabos.co, or pop into one of our live breaks on Fanatics Live or eBay Live. Thank you from Grabo Sports Cards.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
An accident has 2 lanes blocked off heading south on 95 just before Ladysmith, causing some backup for about 4 miles. We're also seeing some delays heading north on Powhite Parkway between Midlothian Turnpike and Chippenham. There's been a wreck on Chamberlain Parkway at Mitchell Street, and some delays heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95.
This has been Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Shot clock at 10. Puts it on the deck, gets in the paint. Floater from 10 feet. Good again off the glass. Brunson taking over in the fourth quarter. It's a 15-1 Nick run. Throws to Bridges left corner. Puts it on the floor. Drives through the lane. Shot clock at 2. Bridges sees it. Puts up a 3 right side. And he hits it. It's a 4-point game on the Bridges prayer.
Incredible.
Brunson right side. 23 seconds left. Drives. Gets past Harden. Floater off the backboard is good. And the game is tied again with 101 with 19 seconds left. And Towns gets it across to Brunson, left side. Swing to the right wing. Shaman puts it up. It's a three. It's a 9-point Nick lead with a minute 49 to go in overtime.
Oh, my goodness. One timeout called. One timeout called. Kenny Atkinson only called one timeout during that entire comeback. Heck, after that first one, that first highlight you just heard, I would have called a timeout there. Second highlight, probably would have called another timeout. You had 4 of them, 3 of them. You had 3 of them. And you used one of them. Finished the fourth with 2 timeouts remaining. Jalen Brunson had himself a clutch time. That's why we call him Captain Clutch, right? He shot 7 of 11 when Harden defended him last night. And Atkinson did not call a timeout to get Harden out of the game. I don't get it. I don't understand why. Now, as a seller of all of my Knicks stock, I don't have a dog in the fight, right? Because I can't buy back in. I
got a dog. It's a 3-legged dog, though.
Is it James Harden?
Yeah.
He's playing like a 3-legged dog.
Yeah, like what in the world, bro?
Atkinson said after the game, quote, "I like to hold my timeouts. I didn't want to have one timeout at the end of the game, 1 or 2 point game. I tried to hold them." That is terrible logic because you're essentially saying I wanted to keep my timeouts because I knew they were going to come back. And then even in it, when it was a tied game, whenever it was close late, when it was a 1, 2, 3, 4 point game, you still didn't use them. I'm angry and I'm not even a Cavs fan. I can't imagine what Midlow Dan is going through this morning.
I'm angry and it's like, I trusted you.
Yeah, honestly. Like, man, I thought you had figured it out. After that Detroit Pistons game 7, and he went to the podium after the game and he said, yeah, we made an adjustment. When Azar Thompson was guarding us, we just threw the ball to someone else. And I was like, that's a coach who realized what he needed to do to get better. He listened to Dan Gilbert when Dan Gilbert was like, hey, why don't you get Jared Allen involved more? I thought he had made definitive strides forward. And then last night I was like, that's right. Come on now. Tough.
Yes. So the issue here is Kenny, like what are we doing? We're playing
what are we doing?
We're playing for keeps. There is a limited run of games that you can win and that you need to win. So saving anything makes no sense when in that moment the most important thing was winning that game.
Winning.
Yes, you sell out for that game.
Because if you sell out and you win that game, you know what you can do in game 2?
Afford to lose game 2 if they came down to it.
Afford to lose it. And then like if you get down, say 15 in the third quarter or something, you know what you can do if you've already won game 1? You know what I think we're going to do? We're going to rest our guys. They've really just been playing hard. Like the last week, they've played 4 games, 5 games. Let's rest these guys. If it did happen to get out of hand in game 2, who knows how things fall and how it all breaks out. But like you have so much more room for error if you win that game. You take home court. Like that's why it was so important. San Antonio won in double OT and they were willing to just use up their guys in that game because they know getting one of those 2 at their place is the most important thing in a conference finals. and they had it. They had a 22-point fourth quarter lead. They had a 99.9% chance of winning that game. Then everything that could go wrong started to go wrong. Keyword, started to go wrong. That is when you, as the head coach, have to realize, I've got to use a timeout. You see that Donovan Mitchell and James Harden are struggling out there. In total, that duo during the Knicks closing stretch combined to shoot 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3 for just 3 points and 2 turnovers. You see that they're starting to flail. Call a timeout. That didn't work. Give it a minute or two. Call another timeout. You've got 3 of them. You had 3 of them when that comeback began. You used 1. You go into OT with 2 still in your pocket, and they don't roll over. It is tough. Donovan Mitchell took to the podium yesterday after the game, and he said all of the right things, but you could just kind of tell in the tone of his voice that it's going to take a lot of energy for Cleveland to bounce back and respond heading into game 2 inside MSG.
It's one game. We could have lost by 40. Still would have been 1-0. So just watch the film. We played, pretty solid for 3 quarters or so. We'll make adjustments and go from there. I mean, it's no different than playing a solid game in Toronto and RJ Barrett hits the shot that goes all the way to the top. It's the same as one loss. They're bad. We've had some tough ones, but it's one loss. It's not like that loss, gives them 2 or 3 games, right? It's one. So we have an opportunity to come back here in 2 days and steal one here. And that's really all it is. If you allow yourself to go down that path, you won't be ready for game 2. So that's pretty much the mindset.
Technically speaking, it was just one game, but they did win game 2 with last night's win. Like, let's just face the facts. They won game 2 with that. They beat them emotionally, physically, and the Knicks flexed their muscle. I think Bruce brought up something really interesting. Maybe the pageantry, I don't know the other words to use for MSG. I've got a hot take. I'm going to save it for Friday that it comes to MSG.
If you're gonna attack the legacy of MSG, we're gonna have a long Friday.
Maybe it's gonna be about Jalen Hurts and the legacy of MSG. Stay tuned. Friday show. 8
please stay tuned. It's gonna be a long show.
8 to 10 a.m.
Very confrontational.
It's gonna be at 9:45.
I hate New York, but I we'll save it for Friday.
But maybe the aura of MSG was too much for the who knows what happened. But that win last night is going to result in 2 or 3 more wins directly because of that. We got a couple of texts in. Atkinson should be fired. We learned 2 things last night. 1, he's a horrible coach. 2, millennials, I'm not a millennial, can see why Harden is overrated and is just a stat stuffer, no defense. I was watching the game last night, Alan, and I was having flashbacks to people texting in, whether it was when the Harden trade was first announced, and we both were excited about the trade. We thought it was going to be good. He was going to get back all of his playoff failures. And then even a couple of days ago, throughout this entire playoffs, we've had varying degrees of Harden hate and love on our text line, right? And last night I thought to myself, you know what? Unfortunately, the haters were right. Good job, haters.
It's a coin flip, man.
Harden.
Game 2, he's going to make me look like I'm a genius. I knew I should have supported him.
Between game 7 in Detroit and game 1 here in New York, he's been not an offensive threat.
It's 2-1. You get 2 bad, you get 1 good.
Yeah, and then that's going to result in them losing this series in 5.
It hasn't cost them yet, so let's hold on.
Except for last night.
Yeah, last night
and every other loss they've had.
Technically, he should be on the winning side if he had a bad game 7 and a bad game 1.
He should
we should get enough to get out this series.
But
I'm not sure.
He is just a defensive liability.
He's a liability. Now, it's not even defensive. Like offensively, he hasn't been doing anything either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of it other than some guys just don't have it. Like they're just not up for it, no matter how talented they are.
Look at the difference in Harden and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
One's got it.
It's the same with Durant. All the talent in the world, he's not as bad as Harden. I'm not making that comp. I'm just saying there's a level of Durant that will never be Steph, will never be LeBron, no matter how talented he is. There's a level of Harden that will never be better than what he is right now. And it's unfortunate. The Cavs definitely need a better version of what they got last night, but at the end of it all, this whole game was a collective failure. It doesn't all fall on Harden.
Yeah.
He could have played better, and they could have still made the same game management mistakes and still lost this game as well. But, it is frustrating. As a supporter of the Cavs, I can only imagine what it's like as a fan.
Yeah, it doesn't fall all on Harden, but he is one of the easiest ones to point to. And then it's really easy to point to Atkinson and asking, why didn't you call a timeout and get Harden out of the dang game? They were clearly hunting him. Brunson was going after him, and it was working out. And in these playoffs, he's shooting 32% from three. It's not like he's a guy you need out there. And over the last 2 games, he's a combined 7 of 26 from the floor, 1 of 14 from three. He's not a guy that has been so electric offensively. You need him in the game for his offensive contributions. He's at times been an offensive liability for you.
End of the game, game's tight. You need the defense to stop, or you need to make an adjustment. Schroeder should have came in.
Yeah.
Harden should have been out. I mean, it's pretty simple.
And you had 2 timeouts. You have a couple of opportunities to get some offensive switches by calling timeouts. Yeah. And he just kept them all in his pocket.
It's not that complicated, but unfortunately, man.
I guess it is. We got another text. How come we're starting to see crazy comebacks in the NBA, whereas we used to barely see them? Is the NBA allowing this and wanting games to be more entertaining, or are teams genuinely just outright selling these games? I think why we're seeing it is because of the rise in the 3-point shot. If you start to go cold from 3, you're going to give a lot more opportunities for your opponent to come back. And I think coaching.
Combination of the 3-point shot, obviously being the great equalizer, pace of games, people not understanding possessions and how you can shrink a game by limiting possessions.
Spurs.
Yeah. And then also, like, just like you said, the coaching, man, like, we don't have fundamentals in basketball or sports in general anymore. People do simple things like call a timeout at the right time, and we will shower them with praise because it's so far and few between that we have coaches that can manage games. Like, we think coaching a lot of times, I feel like we forget that's the biggest part, managing the game. Knowing when to pull a player if you're in baseball, knowing when to call timeout and rally the troops when you're in basketball, knowing when to pull somebody by the face mask and rip them when you're in football. Like, we don't have guys that really know how to do that anymore. And so we end up with this overanalyzed situation, and it's goofy. 99% chance to win, and you lose.
And you don't lose. You lose by double digits.
Yeah. You were up double digits and lost by double digits.
You were up 22. You lost by 11. You don't see that every day.
I agree with y'all. Fireball offense, man. Come on,
right
Kenny.
There, fireball offense.
Come on,
Kenny. It is
Kenny.
absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think it's a multitude of factors. It's not the NBA allowed.
Yeah,
it's not rigging the games. I think it's, to the second part, just outright selling these games. They're selling it. Yeah, 100%. Not in the fact of they're selling it like rigging it, but they're selling it like they're just not. And you could even go so much further down the chain, right? Like, not to get into like AAU hoops culture, but you're talking about like fundamentals from a coaching perspective of when to call a timeout and when to do all of this. Fundamentals from a player's perspective
when to pull the ball back
aren't taught at the AAU level. Like, you're just losing out on so much of this. And a really interesting stat going back to the MVP vote. We've not had an American-born MVP since 2020, I believe it was, or maybe even longer. And it's because I believe it's because the international game has caught up to us, and we've almost come back to the pack a little bit because of the way we teach youth hoops.
Yeah, and the international game is developed in a different manner too. Those guys, we talk about it with Luka and Whitby too. Like, they're playing grown men as teenagers.
Yes, they
our
are.
Teenagers are playing teenagers. Well,
I mean,
technically
now they're starting to play grown men.
Now they're coming back from G League.
Just wait for news or snooze. Now they're playing some grown men.
But maybe that'll help us. Maybe we're looking at this from
the wrong angle.
Yeah, from the wrong angle.
Internationally, this will help us. But I think it's a mix of so many things. Coaches aren't the best coaches anymore. We've lost a lot of the greats in the game. You got the 3-point ball is the ultimate equalizer, but the 3-point ball can also be your ultimate undoing. If you go cold for 3 minutes from 3-point land and all of a sudden your opponent got hot, You just allowed a 15-0 run for no good reason. They don't want to get in. The mid-range game is dead, and they're taking their shot with 15 seconds left on the shot clock rather than 1.1 second left on the shot clock. Answer.
Is this the Cleveland Cavaliers 28-3?
Oh. Yeah. Easily. Yeah. 100%. Easily.
To me, that's like, obviously the Super Bowl, the magnitude of the game is different, but the embarrassment of having a game so in lock and you still lose is.
I almost think the embarrassment of last night's game is worse because your coach did not call a timeout to stop any of the bleeding. I don't know how I would feel as a Cavs fan watching that happen last night and be like,
well, we know Dolan would have fired. Right. I mean, he's made that pretty clear.
Dan Gilbert might have to. Woo, Nelly. All right. Let's get a quick break in. We'll step aside and we'll be back with some news or snooze on this Wednesday morning.
Every pass.
This can all be decided on the starting line.
Matters.
How about a 359 to 109 miles an hour?
Every round.
Double 01 on the Christmas tree.
Changes everything.
This one is for the World Championship.
The baddest promos on the planet are back.
Wow. Absolutely crazy.
The 2026 Red Line Oil PDRA Drag Racing Series comes to Virginia Motorsports Park this weekend. Tickets at PDRA660.com.
Spring has arrived in RVA, and it's a perfect time to head over to Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite golf course.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
The NFL schedule dropped, and it is time to settle up, people. There's road trips to plan, hotels to book, tickets to split, tailgates to cover, scores to settle, all the things for the season. But now, when you send $10 or more to a friend with PayPal by May 28th, you could win 2 tickets to every home game of your favorite team. Yep, the whole season. Visit paypal.com/P2P sweeps. No purchase necessary. See website for details, including how to enter by mail. Brought to you by PayPal, official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
It's a Memorial Day sale at East Coast Appliance, and you know what that means. It's time to kick off summer, and the deals are heating up. Save up to 50% off new appliances store-wide. Special offers on dishwashers and laundry pairs, and limited time 0% financing you won't want to miss. Always same-day or next-day delivery and install available. The Memorial Day sale at East Coast Appliance. The best price, or it's free. People tell us the same thing all the time. I wish I came here first. Because at East Coast Appliance, customer service actually matters. You're greeted by real appliance experts, not someone working in 5 different departments. You get honest answers, real help, fast delivery when available, and Virginia's largest in-stock inventory. So next time you're in the market for a new appliance, we'd love for you to make your first stop East Coast Appliance, where you always get the best price or it's free.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You think a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt is the worst that could happen. A fine, an inconvenience, a little embarrassment. But then comes the crash. There are injuries, a hospital bed, the long road to recovery, the moments you'll miss. Suddenly, a ticket doesn't seem so bad. That ticket? That was nothing. Click it. Don't risk it. Paid for by NHTSA.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
Tune in to the Henrico Huddle with Dennis Bickmeyer the last Wednesday of each month, afternoons on 106.1 ESPN or updates online at henricosea.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
We're expecting mostly sunny skies this morning with record-breaking temperatures this afternoon, reaching 99 degrees. We're also seeing some afternoon thunderstorms, which may bring about some gusty winds and localized flooding.
Hey, Richmond, looking for more Fitz the Bill content and behind-the-scenes looks into the show? Well, follow us on Instagram at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA. You'll get all of the clips, exclusive hot takes, and so much more. Follow us at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA on Instagram.
News.
Extra, read all about it.
Or snooze.
News or snooze this morning. Mixed bag once again. Luis, 2025 Big East Player of the Year, commits to LSU. Eligibility TBD.
Newsworthy.
Is it really newsworthy?
It's newsworthy. Yeah.
Extra, read all about it.
I don't like your headline. It should have said, Will Wade finds a way to push rule limits again.
So Jeff Goodman from the Field of 68 then also reported that in Italian forward Salul Niang.
Yeah, I was going to think Niang.
I was trying to add a little pizzazz to it. Former NBA draft pick, another former NBA draft pick, also committed to LSU. He's been playing in the top flight European leagues for the last couple of seasons, and he's also committed to LSU. So Will Wade has said, take this NCAA and try me. Try me. It makes me very upset. Makes me want to say words that I can't say on the radio. I used to kind of defend Will Wade around you, Alan. I was like, all right, if you hate him so much, I've got to go to bat a little bit.
And then you got to know Will Wade.
Then he did this, and it royally upsets me. It boils my blood because we all point to the student athletes as to why college sports have dissolved. And it's not the student athletes. It's the adults in the room. An adult in the room willingly decided to do this and to push the bounds of what it is. And in all honesty, these guys are probably going to be deemed eligible. There's probably a 75% chance they get deemed eligible, 25% chance that they don't get deemed eligible, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Will Wade knows that the courts are anti-NCAA for good reason at times. But at the core of college sports, what is it? It's to go play for 4 years, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe you got some bad injury luck, It's to get a college degree. It's to have some fun, and maybe you can live out your professional dreams. I don't get why coaches are trying to do this now. High school has so many great players. D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO. I say it each and every time we talk about this. All have great players. Go and find one of them. Will Wade, screw you.
Wow, was not expecting that.
It's just so frustrating.
I'll let that ride, man.
It's so frustrating that the adults in the room are the ones undermining this sport.
No, dude, you're
so stupid.
I
man.
am very proud to see you come to the dark side with me.
There are now, don't get me wrong. There are student athletes that take advantage of the system. There's RJ Lewis or whatever the frick his name is, Big East Player of the Year. He's just as much at fault in this scenario. I'm talking about bigger scheme, but he knows exactly what he did. He declared for the draft. He turned down an NIL deal from St. John's to go to the NBA draft. The dude was part of a trade this past season when he was playing in the G League. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's just as much at fault as Will Wade is. But in the grander scheme, it's the adults who are supposed to be the adults in the room setting the example. They're the ones trying to undermine the sports we all love. And Will Wade is example numero uno.
James Wood hits inside the park grand slam.
All right, this one's much, much friendlier. This one's fun.
Out
Listen
to
to
left
that.
center. This
That
ball
crap.
is rocked.
Love it.
Into the gap and off the top of the wall. Two
Did somebody hit the wall?
themselves.
It's number 2. Did you all see this highlight?
I have not.
Rounding third and heading home. Inside the park grand slam for
I assume something had to happen for it. I'm not knocking him. He's a great athlete,
Yeah,
but
so
an inside the park
hits it
grand
to-
slam.
It's at the left center. And the two Mets outfielders, one jumps to the wall, and that's the kind of crash you hear.
You said Mets. That's all I need to know.
Tries to go up and catch it, doesn't glove it. The center fielder who made the run over, and they kind of both met in left center field. The left fielder went up to try to catch it. I think the center fielder thought the left fielder caught it. So he stands there looking down at him like, yeah, and the ball's rolling away into center field. He doesn't realize it. So by the time he finds it and gets it, Wood, who's got scary speed, is already rounding
Yeah,
third.
because he's like 6'7" or 6'8", and I
He-
don't think he's 6'8", but he's
He runs like a
definitely
gazelle.
He's definitely tall.
James Wood, man.
He's a
Inside,
great athlete.
Inside the park, grand salami. Newsworthy. Newsworthy.
But yeah, definitely newsworthy, and also great soundbite to hear them actually hit the wall. All right, last up, Jason Kidd out as Mavericks coach after 5 seasons.
I want to say this one's the snooze-worthy, but like the snooze and news combined. We all expected this when Luka was traded. He was very anti that trade, at least it seemed. And now they went with a completely new GM. They got Majiri in from former Toronto's GM.
He didn't hurt Cooper Flag like he did Giannis. Have you ever seen Giannis
yes,
shot before
yes.
Jason Kidd tinkered
Jason
with it?
Kidd, I don't get why he gets so many passes as a coach.
Because he was such a great point
Yeah,
guard.
but he's failed. What? He was a
I know
Brooklyn head coach for a brief stint.
It's like what I'm afraid Chris Paul might be. I hope not.
Yeah.
It's the mind, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've said it so many times. The worse you are as a player, the better you are as a coach. Like, I think I'd be a great coach because I sucked as a player.
I would get Draymond ejections. So, you don't want me around the basketball court.
I'd get ejected.
Yeah, no, they don't want me around the basketball.
But Jason Kidd failed in Brooklyn. He was with Brooklyn for like a year or two. Then he went to Milwaukee. I might be flip-flopping where he was first. Failed in Milwaukee. Went to Dallas. Had Luka. Just didn't get in the way of Luka. Went to the NBA Finals. They traded Luka. Everything that's happened. It makes sense that he's gone. It's newsworthy, but it's also snoozeworthy. I expected this to happen last offseason, and it didn't.
Did you hear the name that's being floated as an option?
Tom Thibodeau.
Nah, even worse. It's our good old friend.
Who?
Doc Rivers.
Oh my God. Cooper, get out of there.
I know,
Cooper,
man.
run.
What?
Demand a trade. How does this man have 18 lives?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. But Doc Rivers' name is definitely being floated around. Thibodeau, I'm hearing, was more of the Orlando Magic's look.
Orlando Magic.
Anyway.
Jamal Mosley was just hired by the Pelicans.
Yeah, Paulo needs to get out if they get tips. He's gonna end up injured.
He already is kind of injured, low key. They'll just run him into the floor even more.
Hit the wall like the Mets did.
Orlando Magic. I would love to see them get I think James Borrego's available out there. I think that'd be a fun hire.
Yeah,
he was successful. Got him to the play in Charlotte, and then had a fine season with New Orleans as the interim.
I will lobby for Splitter getting a shot at coaching the Orlando Magic. I thought he did a great job with the Blazers, man.
Portland, what are they doing?
They deserve everything they're getting.
I know they do. 100%. All right, coming up, hour number 2, Dave Whiteside from the Central Virginia Football Officials Association joins us at 9. Matt Burton from Oklahoma City, the franchise, their radio station out there in OKC, will join us at 9:15. And Dan Pizzuta joins at 9:30 to talk all things NFL. Stay tuned. Coming up, hour number 2.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save hundreds just by bundling home and auto insurance, because you can't go wrong saving money. Unless you spend it on a guitar and never learn to play it, but lie and say that you did. Then someone hands you a guitar at a party and asks you to play, so you decide to improvise this.
Well, don't you know that dream? Sorry, no. Dream. But that's not it. Dreams are fun and also good.
Yep, you can't go wrong bundling and saving money with Progressive. Well, it depends on how you spend it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Memorial Day sale and get 30% off paints and stains May 15th through the 28th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside. Appreciate you clocking in, making us part of your morning. We're on the ESPN Richmond app, ESPNRichmond.com as well, streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch it, just type in ESPN Richmond. We should pop right on up, and you can like, comment, subscribe, be part of the show over there. Be part of the show by calling or texting into the Radkey Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888, radkeyinsurance.com to get started on your free quote today. We start hour number 2 with Dave Whiteside from the Central Virginia Football Officials Association. Dave, good Wednesday morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, but I'm a little bit nervous after that last segment, some of the rant you guys go. I hope I don't get any tough questions.
Hey, no tough questions today. No, after last year, we'll keep it nice and simple. We won't dive too much into ref. Look, if it makes you feel any better, Dave, those rants weren't about refs. They were about coaches. I did get a little worked up that last segment. I've calmed myself down because I listened to some Stevie Wonder there.
No, you made a comment there that it's just so true. I've known this for years, is that, the only thing about sports that gets messed up is because the adults are the one messing it up for the kids. I mean, even at the lower levels all the way down, when there's any kind of a controversy, it's usually adults having conversations that are not very popular, and the kids or the participants in the sport in the game are just kind of looking around going, what's going on? Because they really, really don't care. And it's unfortunate. It's all the way at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
To the level that is right. Anyway, that's another topic, of course. So
Yeah, I mean, we could dive into everything around how, I mean, sometimes officials are treated by the parents, even at the peewee levels, but maybe we'll bring you on in a month or so, and then we'll dive into all of that. But I want to start here at the top, Dave. How did you get involved with the Central Virginia Football Officials Association? Also, how long did it take you to learn what CVFOA stood for, and how long did it take you to be able to say it in one breath because it's such a long name?
Well, my officiating career honestly started all the way back at Virginia Tech when I was just a student, needed a little bit extra money, and found out that they were paying, I think it was like $10 or $15 a game to referee intramural basketball games. So that's how I started. And then when I came back home in '94, I kind of transferred over to, hey, refereeing would be kind of cool. So I started basketball, which is the Central Virginia Basketball Officials Association.
I'm glad you guys kept the framework the same for the two.
Well, they're two different organizations, believe it or not. They're really unrelated other than the common memberships you have. But you got the CVBOA and the CVFOA. And you probably got, whatever it is for soccer, lacrosse, or whatever else. I started basketball back then, and then the following year, I had it's about relationships. The point I'm getting to is about relationships. My first year as a basketball official, they give you a big brother. There's a training and all that stuff to bring you in and try and show you the rule book and they do a pretty good job of training. Part of that, they give you a big brother so you can have some one-on-one interactions. And they do a pretty good job of, and I think this is pretty much all associations, about making sure that we have the right people as big brothers. I feel like I had one of the best. And I don't mind saying his name, and I'm going to get a little choked up and I apologize because his name was Terry Haney. And Terry Haney was one of the most well-respected officials in basketball, football, volleyball, you name it, softball, over the last 40-plus years that this city has ever seen, or this area's ever seen. We lost Terry a couple years ago. That's why I get a little shaken up on it, so I apologize. But it was that relationship I had with Terry that he said, why don't you come do football? So I started football the very, very next season, and I've done both ever since. And it became about relationships. You started meeting people that become some of your best friends. And I remember another gentleman, official that we've lost here recently. I remember Charlie Clough coming into the training for football years ago, 30-plus years ago, and just simply says, you don't know it now, but some of your best friends in your life as you go into adulthood or continue your adulthood are going to be officials. And had no idea what he was talking about at that time. But 30 years in, I look back, he was exactly 1,000% correct. And it's about relationships. In any organization, I don't care what you do. If you got good people in it, it's an organization you're going to want to kind of stay attracted to or stay connected with and everything. So I've been very, very fortunate. And I think most of the people have been around that amount of time would tell you the same thing.
That's awesome.
That's kind of my story. And when did I start quote unquote getting it? I don't know. I mean, I can go back and tell you that there's some things I didn't know early on that I've kind of figured out, and something else, other stepping points. But I think that's a continual journey, if I'm honest, because even recently in the last few years, as we sit here and have conversations with, young officials, training, coaches. I'm a member of the Touchdown Club that I've been for about the better part of 10 years now, and all these people come together to help support scholastic football in the area. You realize that I've been looking at this all wrong because we're all on the same team. When I go to a football game to work a game, all the people there, the coaches, you guys on the sideline. I saw Alan at a game last year. I said, hey, just in passing, I said, all the people, the photographers, the fans, the guys doing the chain crew, the guys in the press, we're all there. We're all on the same team. So a football game can be played on the field. And that's pretty sobering, because when we sit there and start talking about, little league stuff and parents, parents getting a bad rap when I say that on the statement, parents getting into the referees. I don't mean that's to be unfair, but, but it's just like we forget that we're all on the same team. We're arguing about something, and we're all advocating for the same thing, so the kids can play the game.
Dave, not to get too sappy on it all, but you're exactly right. Working around high school football last year when we went out for our Talk of the Town games of the week, Alan and I, going to it all, like you do kind of realize how important sports like this are to the Richmond community and communities across the Commonwealth, across the country. And it's a really cool moment when you see the same people, you see similar referees each and every week. You kind of build up, from the media perspective, this rapport with some of the guys. It was a really cool thing just to experience last year, and you guys are probably the most pivotal part of that. Look, the games can go on without the media there. The games can go on without a lot of us on the sidelines, but you guys are extremely pivotal to it over there at the Central Virginia Football Officials Association. You can learn more at cvfoa.org. Just overall, with what you guys are doing, how do you see it impact the kids from your perspective?
Oh, it's you can't put you can't put your finger on it. It's you don't understand. You just don't know. You just don't know the relationships, the coaching they receive from the coaching staffs. They're all life. Their life skills that they get are just a lot of them wouldn't get in other places. And I just think it's so valuable and important. I mean, I got a great story, but it's just not a lot of time. But the short of it is, I went to western part of Kentucky last year to work a football game for college. They were playing a team from the western part of Florida, and one of the coaches from the West Florida team was and I'm gonna mess up his name, and I apologize, because right now people like Tom Hall and Greg Wood are going to roll their eyes, but I think his name is Conyell Conyers, that played football at Manchester High School in the early 2000s. He was one of the coaches of that team, and I'm like, I told him I was from Richmond, and I looked at him and said, "You played for Tom Hall?" And the reaction of his face, the look in his eyes. This guy went to Clemson, played in NFL, now he's coaching. When you mention his coach's name, these players, whether they play for Manchester, play for Holland Springs, play for Mechanicsville, Armstrong, it doesn't matter. Their coaches are figures in their life that they will never forget. And it's just a sweet and touching relationship that these men have with the players that they coach, and it's priceless. And I saw that in that moment. I saw that in that moment to kind of realize, to help me realize, hey, we're all on the same team together. So it kind of comes full circle there for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dave Whiteside joining us from the Central Virginia Football Officials Association. And Dave, I always like talking to you because the stories that you've got, the insights that you have, it's always eye-opening, because you can kind of see the impact of it. You can see kind of what the experience of being an official here around the Richmond area, or in your case, going to the western part of Kentucky, takes you beyond the borders of the Commonwealth, right? But like the stories that you have, it's clear that you love being an official. It's clear that it has a positive impact on you. What's a fun story you've got as a referee? One of your favorite moments reffing a game here around the 804?
Oh, my Lord.
I know there's probably too many to pick from, but if you can whittle it down.
And some of the better ones are the ones you can't say on the air. But, I've those little generic stories where, you're on a sideline and there's a call or a play, and the coaches on the sideline are just losing their minds and everything. And to calm down the situation, I'll look at, they're having an emotional reaction. I look at, Coach, it's okay. It's okay. It's not so bad. You should have saw the call he made last week. And it just completely slices through the tension. I mean, so I like being a little tongue in cheek with some of the coaches on this. Some of them appreciate it more than others. I do understand that.
I bet.
Exactly right. But I mean, some of it's off the field stuff. It's just, it's just really hard to put a finger on it, to pull one off the top of my head. But I'll tell you, these stories that I have, they're no different from any of the stories that anybody else has in our association, because we've all heard the stories from the Terry Haney's and the Charlie Close over the decades, of them coming up through the 70s, and even 60s, and some, and they just go forever, and it just attracts you to the relationships again. I mean, some of the coaches in our area, I just love to death, and but some of them a little bit more trying than others. Sometimes when a game has a little bit on the line, tension's going to be a little bit higher, and you understand those things. But you respect what they're doing, and the best thing you can do is just stay out of the way and let the game be played. But I've had fouls where a player would just sit there and just be the instigator on a play, and all of a sudden something would happen to where he's the one that ends up on his back, and he'd turn around and look at me and go, "What was that?" And I would just look him square in the eye. Now, this is a young man now. This is a 16 or 17-year-old, so you got to be careful what you say. But I just look at him like, "Bud, you bought that one. You paid for that one in cash." So it's little stuff like that. But those are the things that you come back with them, and you follow it up. You just don't let it lie like that. You come up and follow it up with them to kind of say, "Hey, listen, I know that play didn't, sit well with you, but you don't coach them, because I don't want to be a coach as an official, but I want to be relatable. I want them to know that, we're all human beings out here, and we can all make mistakes, but you also want to remind them, hey, we're not robots, and that we do have, feelings, for lack of better words,
yeah,
and that we are approachable, and that we are humans, and we understand that the hard work that they put in week and week out to play that game on Friday night is not dismissed."
I love it, Dave. Really appreciate your time on this Wednesday morning. We'll have to bring you in studio here in the next month or so to get some more stories to really pick your brain on it. But really appreciate your time on this Wednesday.
Yeah, no problem. And just last thing, you mentioned the website. I appreciate it, but there's a link on there.
Yep.
Our training starts next month on June 22nd. It's get ready to get going. And June 22nd is a Monday, and all our trainings are at Verona High School. And anybody calls in the studio, feel free to give them my number or contact me. We're looking for new officials. We always need new officials, and we're hoping to get some good folks out there like we've been fortunate to do the last couple of years.
Yeah, we love it. Dave, appreciate your time. Have a great Wednesday.
All right, Matt. Take care, sir.
CVFOA.org. You can head over there. Dave just mentioned it. June 22nd. That's the deadline to sign up. That's when the training starts. So head on over to CVFOA.org to learn more, to sign up to become an official today around the Central Virginia area. And you can get stories like what Dave had. I mean, there's so many more. I remember he was in studio last year. He had so many stories. I could just sit all day and listen to the things that he's heard on the sidelines, he's seen on the sidelines. So you can sign up at CVFOA.org if you want more information. You can also text in, and like Dave said, we'll hook you up with Dave's contact, and he can answer any and all questions, even if you are ever so slightly interested. All right, we're going to get a break in. Step aside, Matt Burton. He's the host of the afternoon show on the Franchise over there in OKC. He'll be joining us to talk a little bit about the Western Conference Finals and get his take on what we saw last night in MSG. That's coming up next right here on Fitz the Bill.
Those who serve in the military are always on duty. They never leave till the mission is complete. Robinson's Plumbing Service knows this because they hire vets and are vets themselves. May is Military Appreciation Month, but at Robinson's Plumbing Service, every month is Military Appreciation Month. Veterans receive a 10% discount on every job. Some of the people addressing your clogged drains wore the uniform and know that each and every task to be addressed is a mission. And no one at Robinson's Plumbing Service is leaving till that mission is accomplished. Like you, your fellow veterans at Robinson's Plumbing Service once took the oath to defend the U.S. Constitution. And even though they're wearing a Robinson's uniform now, that oath still stands. This is one of many many reasons why Robinson's Plumbing Service has been voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service. This month and every month, Robinson's Plumbing Service says thank you to those who have served. Schedule an appointment with us now at robinsonsplumbingservice.com or call 794-0918.
This is advertising material.
When a motorcycle accident turns your world upside down, who's going to look out for your family while you're healing? Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys is here for you, fighting for injured riders, getting families the compensation they deserve. The consultation is free. Call 877-222-6666 or visit alexwins.law. Don't wait, alexwins.law.
This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located in Norfolk.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Colored Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Colored Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Colored Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container service is available too. CNC Colored Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401k is a key victim. Hi, Dr. Ron Paul here. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. After the dollar was cut loose from it, inflation soared. And in just 9 years, gold hit $850. People who diversified into precious metals survived and thrived. Today, we're in a worse position because we face inflation and massive debt. Fortunately, gold is still an option. My trusted friends at Birch Gold Group can help you own gold inside your retirement account without penalties or taxes. Start now by getting a free info kit on gold. Text the word SECURE to 989898. We're facing the same monetary chaos as the 70s with significantly more debt. Get your free info kit from Birch Gold. Just text SECURE to the number 989898.
Did you know that you can find the best radio station on your dial in HD? Well, you can. Catch us on your HD dial at 103.7 HD2. Just another place to find your home for sports in the capital city. ESPN Richmond.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick Allen alongside as we turn to Matt Burton, host of the afternoon show on the franchise over there in OKC. We got to go directly to the source to get a vibe check on how the Thunder are feeling. Matt, good Wednesday morning. How you doing?
Hey, how we doing, man? Excited to be on with you.
No, appreciate you taking some time because after the loss, I'm not trying to rub it in, not trying to make you feel any worse than I imagine how OKC is feeling, but I needed to go straight to the source to find out how Thunder fans, how Thunder media, how the Thunder OKC is feeling about it, and what you think OKC needs to do to even up the series in Game 2.
Yeah, the feelings around Oklahoma City, it's a little shell shock. I'm not going to lie to you. It shouldn't be, given how this team, the Spurs, beat Oklahoma City in the regular season, but it was a little shell shock just with how much Victor Wembanyama dominated. I think everyone kind of expected a certain level from Victor, and he exceeded even that level in Game 1. He was just amazing. I mean, there were probably 15 to 20 plays in Game 1 where nobody else on earth can do those plays. So it was kind of a tough pill to swallow, but on the other hand, you know, if you're Oklahoma City, like, you started off the game terribly. Wemby played great. Dylan Harper played great. And it really didn't feel like OKC could get much going on offense outside of Alex Caruso hitting 8 threes. And you force the game into double overtime. So I think, after Oklahoma City fans slept on it a little bit, they slept on it. They're like, hey, you know what? Maybe you had a B-, C+ game on offense, and you still forced double overtime after that Wembanyama performance. So I think everyone's kind of rallying back, like, all right, win Game 2 and then go from there. But, some of the things, obviously, starting at the top, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's got to shoot it better. The Spurs did a great job, I thought, of just making life difficult on him. There weren't very many, clean, open looks that Shai got. And
But he's a guy that's used to shooting tough contested jumpers. That's kind of what he's made a living on. And so he just got to shoot better, plain and simple. He knows that. And I expect him to bounce back tonight. But it was good to see Jalen Williams back, J-Dub, the first Jalen Williams, if you will, out of Santa Clara. Good to see him back. And then, Chet Holmgren's got to find something. He's got to find something because Victor certainly has that mental and physical edge over him, and he's got to fight back.
If Chet has any lunch money still left over from game one, I think Wemby's going to find a way to take that here tonight, because it just seems every time Wemby faces off against Chet, he exploits the weaknesses that Chet has. How do you see Chet being able to, and apologies for the pun here, I know they're both 7-footers, stand tall against Victor Wembanyama?
Man, I honestly heard some things from people. I legitimately think Victor Wembanyama hates Chet Holmgren. Like, I think it is that level of, like, he absolutely despises Chet, because obviously they're going through Team USA and Team France together, and then they're similar ages in the draft. And, Chet obviously gets hurt his rookie year, so they're rookies at the same time, and they're always getting compared to each other. It's not necessarily Chet's fault that, they're both like 7'2" and over and can shoot threes and dribble, and handle the ball, do all these things, and they're awesome defenders. So naturally, Chet's going to get compared to Victor, and I think Victor took that very personally. And it's like, no, this guy is nowhere near me. Please stop putting him in conversations with me. And Wemby's turned out to be absolutely justified in feeling like that, because I don't think there's anybody on the planet that's like Victor Wembanyama. So I don't know. Chet's he's just got to, honestly, just stop getting his lunch money taken, like you said, and fight back a little bit. I will say, like, to give Chet some credit, like, Victor is not just like a Chet Holmgren problem. Like, Victor's a problem for everybody around the league. So it's not specific to Chet, but boy, it sure seems like he takes it out on Chet a little bit extra hard every single time they match up. And this is where, Chet, the competitor, obviously they're coming off a championship. You got to fight back, man. You can't get in your feels, can't get that ego hurt too much. You got to fight back and try to win a championship.
Matt Burton joining us on this Wednesday morning, host of the afternoon show on the Franchise in OKC. You mentioned it a little earlier, Matt, where SGA's just got to start really hitting his shots. And it feels like in the Western Conference semis against the Lakers, he never really found that MVP form that we expect out of SGA. And then game one, it's a fine start to the Western Conference Finals. But how can he take that step forward and get back to the MVP levels that we're so accustomed to seeing out of SGA?
Yeah, his game ones this playoff runs have not been great. I feel they've been great as far as, like, if you look at the box score, just points, assists, steals, rebounds, all that stuff, they've been fine, but has not shot it well from the floor. He was 7 of 23 in game one. I think he was 5 of 18 in game one against Phoenix. He just hasn't been great in these game ones. And I don't think any Thunder fan is just, resigned to the fact of, like, oh, well, this is just who Shea is now. Like, they expect a full bounce back from Shea in game two and moving forward. But man, the Spurs did some things, like some double teams, some soft double teams. They just threw a bunch of different looks at him. And you got to give full credit to Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and Devin Vassell. Man, they got tasked with to stopping the two-time MVP, right? And they answered the bell. Especially Castle being a second-year guy, Harper being a rookie. Those guys answered the call and then some against Shea, and it's up to Shea. It's up to everybody else, too. I think the main thing starts, this is not the first time Shea's been double-teamed or, he's had, a bunch of different coverages thrown at him. He's had pretty much everything that you can think of thrown at him. It starts and stops with other guys who have got to hit shots. In game one, it was Alex Caruso. You got to get some sort of Lou Dort effort on offense there. I don't know if this is going to be the series where you can play Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren together, because, Wemby, in hand quotes, guards Isaiah Hartenstein, really what that means is he just backs off of him and gets to roam around because Isaiah Hartenstein's not a threat from the outside. So I would say maybe you see, and Mark Daigneault has changed his lineup before. In game one of the Pacers series last year, he changed the starting lineup. I would probably expect something like that, maybe a Cason Wallace in the starting lineup for Isaiah Hartenstein, and just kind of roll with Chet against Wemby. Like, hey, this is going to be our best opportunity to do that. When Caruso comes in, Caruso will probably get some time on Wemby. But as far as getting Shea going, it starts and stops with other guys have to make some shots early. So everyone kind of has to respect it a little bit. And like I said, Alex Caruso was that, but in game one. But man, you lost a game in which Alex Caruso had 31 points. That's pretty demoralizing, to be honest with you. And you don't know if you can replicate that again. So yeah, I don't know. Shea got a couple good looks, especially in transition, and just didn't finish them. Man, those are plays that you expect Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to make, and he didn't make them. So I don't know. Interested to see how Oklahoma City tries to open up things for Shea a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game too. My prediction, I said it yesterday after game one, after the double overtime thriller. I think OKC wins game two. I actually think they win by double figures and kind of handle it pretty easily. But I think it's because San Antonio did what they wanted to do, which was take away home court, steal one of the two. And it should be a fantastic game here tonight. I do want to quickly turn our attention here over to the Eastern Conference map because we were treated to a fantastic game last night. And the whole talk around these playoffs has been, well, the Western Conference is just on another echelon, right? They are just so much better than whatever the Eastern Conference has coming out of it. If the Knicks, and you may think it's the Cavs, and if it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the Knicks get out of the Eastern Conference, do you think that the Thunder or the Spurs will have any problem dismantling them?
I think they'll have their own certain issues. Absolutely. The Spurs and the Thunder. I think they'll have their own issues. And plus it's the finals. I think last year with the way that Oklahoma City played, and, I think everyone on this side thought, hey, the Pacers are a fun story, but they're not anywhere near, what Oklahoma City is. And then boom, Halliburton hits that shot game one to win it in Oklahoma City. And it's like, oh no, they are in for a dogfight in the finals, which, makes sense. Two teams competing for the ultimate goal. You're going to get their best shot every single game. So after last year, there is no overlooking anybody, despite how much better you think you are than them. We saw the Pacers last year and what they did. But as far as the East goes, man, yeah, last night, I got to be honest, with 7.5 minutes left to go in the game, I was like, all right, well, I may check out early, I may check out. And then all of a sudden, Jalen Brunson not only Jalen Brunson, just the entire New York Knicks team just saw James Harden out there and we're like, we are going to attack him every single trip down.
Yeah.
And we're going to live with whatever happens. And whatever happened was they scored, they went on 26-6 runs in the game and tied it, sent it to overtime. I mean, the Knicks stick out to me as a team. Like, if I'm looking at this from a Thunder or Spurs situation, that they match both teams, both the Thunder and Spurs, in just flat out effort. Like, they are giving just 100% effort every single time. And I had the Knicks in 6 in this one, and honestly, I think the Knicks are just better than the Cavs straight up. But it feels like the Knicks always have a game or two in each series. They didn't last series, but feels like historically they've had a couple of games where they're just head scratchers. They're like, what is going on with the Knicks? They should be way better than this. But no, I mean, Jalen Brunson was just awesome last night. I thought OG Anunoby did a bunch of good things too. Mikal Bridges hit some big shots. But if I'm looking at both these teams and whoever wins for the Spurs and Thunder, I think the Knicks do, pose pretty big threat to both teams. But I would be excited to see the Knicks versus either the Spurs or the Thunder, man.
I love it, Matt. Really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great show later on today. And for your sake, I hope OKC can pull out a Game 2 win.
I I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, there goes Matt Burton, host of the afternoon show on the franchise over there in OKC. Appreciate him taking some time out of his Wednesday, give us some insights into what's going on over there in Oklahoma City. We're going to get a quick break in, step aside. Dan Pizzuta, an NFL writer. He wrote 6 chapters in the latest FTN Almanac. He'll be joining us to talk a little, well, of course, NFL on this Wednesday morning. Stay with us, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Turbocharged, supercharged, or nitrous fed. It's all good. The Redline Oil PDRA Drag Racing Series is back this weekend at Virginia Motorsports Park Dinwiddie. The PDRA Mid-Atlantic Showdown, presented by Classic Graphics. There's nothing like 200-plus mile-an-hour promo. Extreme chaos right before your eyes. Yeah! Tickets at PDRA660.com. See it, hear it, feel it. PDRA.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
WorkZone is the one-stop shop for the hardworking man and woman. When it comes to the biggest selection, WorkZone has it. Over 15 brands of boots and all toe types, even boots for the ladies. WorkZone has jackets in stock for all seasons. See why WorkZone will be your first and only stop for the best brands and comfort in workwear. And a gift card from WorkZone is always the perfect gift. Visit WorkZone on Temple Avenue next to the Ford dealership, WorkZoneVA.com, and check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6.
Do you love football and want to be part of the game and give back to your community? Become an official in Central Virginia. We have a nationwide shortage of officials, causing some games not able to be played on Friday nights. You'll work and train with veteran officials, get great exercise on the field, and you'll earn extra income working the game you love. Active duty military and veterans could receive free uniforms and gear. Training classes start June 22nd. To register, visit cvfoa.org and click register to become an official. That's Central Virginia Football Officials Association, cvfoa.org.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You think a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt is the worst that could happen. A fine, an inconvenience, a little embarrassment. But then comes the crash. There are injuries, a hospital bed, the long road to recovery, the moments you'll miss. Suddenly, a ticket doesn't seem so bad. That ticket? That was nothing. Click it. Don't risk it. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves, and when I'm on my road trip to D.C. and Baltimore, I always tune in to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for all my sports news. They've got you covered.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside for this midweek edition. So we turn it on over to Dan Pizzuta, an NFL writer, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Wrote a couple of chapters in the latest FTN Almanac. Dan, good morning. Happy Wednesday. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic as well, because we get to talk a little when it's let me say it this way. When it's preview season, it's the best time of year. Sometimes I enjoy previewing NFL more than I do actually watching NFL, because you can say and do anything. Like, it's just that time of year. And it's preview season because we've got the FTN Almanac, and you got 6 chapters in it. And coincidentally, you wrote chapters on two teams, and albeit it's way too early with this, but you wrote chapters on the two teams I think that are going to make it out of the NFC North, in the Lions and the Vikings. Am I crazy for thinking that?
So I think what's interesting about the NFC North right now is they might have the best fourth team in any division. And I think that's probably going to be how it plays out. And I don't think there's going to be a lot separating those four teams. So I think there are not many orders in which you could put the teams in this division in which I would be incredibly surprised by, especially with some of the volatility that a lot of these teams have. Obviously, we go with Detroit. This is a team that has been good on both sides of the ball, but we do have some injuries now that you have to account for. The Lions, I'm a little concerned about how their offensive line is going to shake out. The defense, especially, don't really know what their two starting safeties, one, when they're going to get on the field, two, if they're going to be healthy. So there's a lot of questions like that about every team, but also these could be, one of the best teams in the league if everything breaks right for, I think, really all four.
So something that the Vikings are really relying a lot on is Kyler Murray taking a job. Well, Grant, I think they're still saying it's an open competition between him and J.J. McCarthy, but I'm going to just assume Kyler wins that. Yeah, I mean, let me ask it to you this way then. Let me start with the J.J. McCarthy of it all. That experiment, can we put a fork in it by now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I was not very big on McCarthy coming out of college as an NFL prospect. One, from he didn't really have these great outstanding tools, and there was not a lot of experience to build on. I thought the one kind of, if you could make a case for his success in the NFL, it was that he was going to Minnesota and was going to be in this environment that would help him. Clearly, that was not enough to help him out. And, you do have the Kevin O'Connell thing where he, before the season, riding a little high off the Sam Darnold thing, saying, organizations fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail organizations. But sometimes young quarterbacks just are not very good. And I think that's kind of what we had with J.J. McCarthy. It was very clear that the game was just going way too fast for him. He did not have kind of the processing and the physical tools that we've seen from some of these other quarterbacks. I think Josh Allen has kind of ruined how we view quarterback development for so many other young quarterbacks that are coming into the league. But when you have just outstanding physical tools like that, you can still be making mistakes, but let those tools kind of guide you. And when you have guys like a McCarthy who don't really have that, it's much tougher to be a little slow in your processing and continue to build and develop. And we saw it just kind of by the end of the season. By the end of the season, they did figure out some ways to make the production a little better, but also they were kind of just taking the ball out of his hands a lot. So I just don't really see the path forward, especially with Minnesota. On a team that does have this really good defense that they're still trying to build on, is this team that definitely wants to be winning now. I just don't see how McCarthy really gives them the best chance to try that.
Dan Pizzuta joining us on this Wednesday morning. Does Kyler give them that chance? Is Kyler the next, and it's going to be the conversation we have all offseason, right? Is Kyler the next Sam Darnold?
So that's a weird question because I think that's how it's going to be framed by a lot of people, but I think that's really downplaying what Kyler has been to this point in his career already. He's going to get lumped in with these reclamation projects like the Darnolds and the Baker Mayfields and even the Geno Smith when he went to Seattle. To this point in his career, Kyler has been better than all of those players were when they got to their reclamation project. And one of the things about Kyler is, we kind of view him as this kind of inconsistent kind of quarterback, but he really doesn't have these crazy negative plays throughout his career. So if you believe this is going to be a ceiling-raising endeavor in Minnesota, I think that is that has a lot of potential to be really good because we do see these high-level traits, and he hasn't been one of these quarterbacks like we've seen with a Darnold or a Baker who have had these terrible moments when they were before they really got to their next stop and kind of figured that out. So Kyler has had this much higher floor than any of these quarterbacks, and we've seen the high-level traits. So if that's something that they can get out of him more often, this could be a pretty fun offense. And then the thing with Minnesota is, this doesn't have to be a top 10 offense if the defense stays as good as it has been the past 2 years. And that's something that is going to be kind of hard to sustain. We usually don't see defenses be incredible for multi-year stretches, and they've already done it in back-to-back years. But if this is maybe the 10th best defense, if this offense is just about average, this is Minnesota being, competitive again. And remember, as bad as everything went for them last year, this is a team that still finished 9-8.
I'm bullish on Minnesota. I think the Kyler signing was really good because I'm right there with you. I mean, there were points in Kyler's Arizona career. One, he had to overcome Arizona, which I think is it doesn't get enough credit for being maybe the worst run organization outside of Cleveland, but I digress on that. He overcame Arizona, and at times with Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler was in MVP discussions in the first couple of weeks of seasons. He is he is the best QB that KOC has had to have or has gotten to work with up there in Minnesota. And if he can put together a slightly above average season, I feel like Minnesota could shock a lot of people. I've been trying to identify the teams that can replicate what Seattle and New England did last year, from a non-playoff team to a Super Bowl caliber type of team. And Minnesota's a team that I've got an eye on, that I'm watching intently as they move through this offseason, because I think they could be a team that could make that drastic jump here.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to hinge, I think, as much on the defense as it does the offense, because there's still a lot of moving pieces on that defense. The past 2 years, they've been, top 5 in DVOA and a lot of other advanced metrics. It's very hard to do that 3 years in a row. And I think if we looking at the projections for what we have in the book upcoming, we do expect a little bit of regression, although I make the case in the chapter that, we kind of predicted that last year also, and they still came out as one of the better defenses. I think Brian Flores just does, an excellent job blitzing more than anyone has ever blitzed ever before. And so that does have a lot of, high upside here. So if that defense can stay as good as it's been and this offense is even average, the Minnesota has something they can really work with.
Dan Pizzuta, NFL writer, he wrote 6 chapters in the latest FTN Almanac. You heard him talking about there, the Lions chapter, Vikings chapter, and the AFC East chapter. But Dan, last year you wrote the Commanders chapter, and I want to quickly hit rewind and chat briefly about Washington, because they didn't have a good year. They ended up picking Sonny Styles in the draft. What went wrong from your view last year, and what can they do this year to fix those issues?
So they started, I think part of the case for Washington last year was one that the offense could, even if it regressed a little bit, there was still going to be enough there. And I think you can that was a wash with the Jaden Daniels injury. We don't really know what that offense potentially could have been if he was on the field all season. That was also part of, some of the hesitation with Washington. Is this a quarterback who, the way he plays the game, be able to stay healthy? And the fact that he kind of had a couple of different injuries last year is still a little bit concerning. But I think they'll be able to figure that out. He is still a talented enough quarterback that as long as he stays away from some of the major hits that he's taken, I think they can figure out a good offense and be able to keep him on the field. The defensive side of the ball was really the thing that you had hoped coming into last year would improve. It had been one of the worst defenses in the league the year before. In the first year, you just kind of hoped that a second year in that system, everybody would improve a little bit. There was a lot of veterans on that team, and this defense just did not improve at all. So I think this year coming into it, that is something that they certainly pinpointed. I think they went hard into free agency. They got a lot younger on that side of the ball, and I think that is something that I'm a little more optimistic about, because when they first started building this defense and really this roster in general, when kind of Adam Peters and Dan Quinn came in, it was a lot of older veteran talent, and this team ended up being one of the oldest in the league. A lot of that was still on 1 or 2 year deals, so they had to go out in free agency again and kind of rebuild the rest of this roster, but they got a lot younger in the process. When you look at some of the guys like, Nick Cross is, I think, 25, Owe is 25, 26. So they got much younger. So there is more upside to build with on this defensive side of the ball. And I think there's a lot more kind of high-end talent that if you get that high end, I think this defense can be, if it's closer to average again, and you have some of the things that have worked well on offense, then that's when you get this team that I think can be much better. But if the defensive side of the ball can click and play much better than it has the past 2 years, which has really been one of the worst defenses in football, I think that's the thing that can make them just improve upon, what it's been.
Dan Pizzuta, an NFL writer, joining us, wrote 6 chapters in the latest FTN Almanac. Dan, last question here before we let you go, because writing the AFC East chapter is an interesting one, because with the Patriots, everything else out, I'm not talking about everything else that's happening outside of the building. What's happening potentially inside the building is they may get A.J. Brown. And so as you were writing it about the Patriots, how did you factor that in? And if they do end up getting A.J. Brown, is that something that can help them stay atop the AFC East?
Yeah, so I have not yet written that chapter. That is
smart.
We split those a bit. So I will actually start writing that in about a week or so. We put that off until after June.
That's
by the
really
time
smart.
I start writing that, they will probably have A.J. Brown. But yes, that is something that is certainly going to help them. We do expect a little bit of regression from New England, just because of it's going to be a weird thing, because I think there was a lot made of the schedule, and yes, they did have an easy schedule, but that was not necessarily an easy schedule of past defenses. Like, they were, about average in the past defenses they faced. So I think it was still like Drake May did some very difficult things that were very good, and we should expect to continue. I think the deep ball production, probably not something they're going to be able to rely on quite as much, but they didn't really have, an A.J. Brown type of receiver who could win, in on some of the in-breaking routes and everything. And I think if you bring in an A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs is going to be big here too, I just think this receiving core is going to be a much more well-rounded position group than it was last year, when you had guys who were just doing very specific things. Stephon Diggs was very efficient on the routes he was on the field, but really only ran about half the routes as they were kind of moving guys in and out. So I think there are some things that we shouldn't expect New England to do quite as well as they did last year. I think adding an A.J. Brown certainly is going to help, but I think this is going to be more of a pretty good team than it was like this great team that was able to be just kind of crazy efficient with some of the explosive plays that they were able to hit last year. I do think kind of down to down, they might have to be a little more successful and figure out how to get that. And especially with the run game, this was one of the worst run games in the league last year that I think also got overlooked a little bit with how Drake May played. And he was so good with absolutely no help from that run game. So if they can figure out some of those smaller little things, that's going to be what I think helps them stave off regression a little bit.
Here's to hoping Travion Henderson has a good little sophomore jump. The 804 native here in Richmond. We're always rooting for him here in Richmond, but hopefully he can get a little bit more run this next year and can show some of that flash that he did in college. But Dan, really appreciate your time. Always love catching up with you. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. You too.
Okay, so there goes Dan Pizzuta. Wrote 6 chapters in the FTN Almanac. It is a great resource. The pre-sale is now live for that. You can head on over to ftnfantasy.com/almanac. That is, of course, if you can write out the word almanac. I struggle with, there's some words in life that I just struggle spelling. Almanac, one of them. I want to throw one too many extra A's in there, but I learned this morning. All right, we're going to get a quick break in. Step aside. We'll be back to wrap up this Wednesday edition of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Hey RVA, Paul from All Set Auto Richmond here. That ice storm sure left its mark. That leftover salt and sand are now hazardous to the health of your ride's paint. At All Set, we've got the perfect defense. Paint protection film, ceramic coating, and window tint to keep your paint shielded and shiny and your body cool. And remember, that spring pollen is no match for our detailing services. Look for us right off I-64 at Gaskins Road. Google All Set Auto Richmond or visit allsetauto.com. That's ALSET auto.com.
All Set Auto Richmond. Protect, preserve, personalize.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-350-5858. That's 1-800-350-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-350-5858. That's 1-800-350-5858.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Calling all veterans, family members, and available service members. Come walk with local leaders at the 3rd Annual Veterans 5K Walk, sponsored by the Military Retiree Club of Richmond. The walk begins at 7:30 in the morning on May 30th at the Dominion parking lot, 120 Tredegar Street near the Bell Island Bridge. The walk is part of a suicide prevention program to honor our veterans. Register now. Call 804-321-3188 or email militaryretiree@comcast.com. We need your support.
Graduation season is here, and it's time to celebrate big. From backyard shindigs to full-scale grad parties, Classic Party Rentals of Virginia has everything you need to make it unforgettable. Tents for shade, tables for gathering, chairs for everyone, and linens in your school colors to show off that hard-earned pride. You bring the grad, and we'll bring the party. Reserve your rentals today and visit us online at classicpartyrentalsva.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
106.1 ESPN in your pockets. Download the app for on-demand shows, live updates, podcasts, and sports takes hotter than a game-winning drive. Your team, your way. Get it now.
Oh, another free one. Thanks, dog. You always hook me up.
Another hour of the fun stuff on deck.
Another one of your nonsensical rambling stories.
And another round for everyone on me. I don't want to hear another peep. Okay, all right, here's another one.
Another thing before we get up on out of here, looping it back to that conversation we had with Matt Burton from the franchise in OKC. OKC tonight, a 6.5-point favorite against San Antonio. Alan, I think Oklahoma City going to win this game by double figures. I think they're going to handle it pretty well. And I think it's going to be a smart move by San Antonio because they expelled so much energy to get that game one win for the right reasons, right? Cleveland probably should have taken a page out of that book, maybe called a couple of their timeouts that they actually still got sitting in their pocket by the way. Still got them available to use. Jeez Louise. But I think San Antonio may get down early and then just kind of realize, you know what? We did what we came here to do. We'll see it through. See you in game 3 back in San Antonio.
I think San Antonio is going to come out and compete, and they're going to go for it. I don't think they're going to pack it in at all. I think they don't like OKC.
That's a good point. It's a good rivalry.
I think it's not a respect thing. It is a you have what I want thing. And I think this team is young enough and they're hungry enough that they're going to put it on OKC. And OKC is used to people being intimidated. And this is not a team that's intimidated.
San Antonio, it's crazy that Wemby is, and I'm not trying to be rude to French people here, but like typically you don't think of the French as
it's a culture thing,
aggressive, in your face tone setters. And Wemby is that.
Yeah.
Wemby was that for the French national team, for goodness sake, but he is that with San Antonio. And do we have an update on De'Aaron Fox? Is De'Aaron Fox going to play in tonight's game? Probably another game time decision like he was in game 1. I mean, heck, if Dylan Harper plays like he did in game 1, it might not matter. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is a game time decision. He's the only big time injury that is going to be impacting tonight's game. According to ESPN's analytics, OKC's got a 62% chance to win. San Antonio's got a 38% chance to win. I see what you're saying, that these two teams don't like each other. That San Antonio.
I actually don't think it's these two teams. I really
think it's San Antonio.
Yeah, I think it's San Antonio.
It's almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Alan, if what I'm getting from you saying, is San Antonio almost like the little brother who's just trying to prove themselves to the big brother, and the big brother wants nothing to do with them. And it just so happens, as I'm going to keep this analogy going, it just so happens that the little brother has had like a 6-inch growth spurt over the last couple of days and can actually knock out the big brother. Big brother didn't realize that he's going to get knocked out.
And it just so happens that Wemby is offended and he doesn't like him. And San Antonio follows Wemby's lead. So if Wemby doesn't come out flat, that team, like Stephon Castle's a competitor. You can tell. Harper's a competitor. You can tell. Their core group of guys want to compete and want to win. So I haven't seen San Antonio do the proverbial pack in at any point in this playoffs. I've seen them get beat, but I've not seen them concede or pack it up like within the first half or even the third quarter.
I'll also say I think OKC is going to punch back.
Oh, of course.
Like I think OKC is going to come out. That's another reason why I think they win by double figures tonight. I think they're going to come out. They're going to punch back. And SGA, I hope, and Matt kind of echoed this as well, he returns to MVP form, because not only has he been bad in game 1s, Matt didn't even take it far enough because he was not good in the series against the Lakers, and he was not good last night. And they're going to need him to take that step forward. I think he got the punch from Wemby last night or 2 nights ago. I think he's going to be the one on the front foot here tonight and try to lay it on Wemby's chin. That is, if he can reach that high, because that's like a foot difference between the two. All right, that'll do it for Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday morning. Appreciate Dave from CVFOA for stopping by. If you want to learn more or sign up to become an official, head on over to cvfoa.org. The deadline is June 22nd. That's when their training starts. So head on over to cvfoa.org to learn more and to sign up to become an official. Thanks to Matt Burton from OKC, the franchise over there in Oklahoma City. And appreciate Dan Pizzuta, NFL writer, wrote 6 chapters in the latest FTN Almanac, for stopping by on this Wednesday. Keep it locked right here. We are Where Richmond Talks Sports. The mid-major match show starts at 4.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL.